Cartman's always scheming, but every now and then karma hits back, hard, from brutal beatdowns to humiliations he never saw coming. Let's break down every single time South Park's biggest menace finally got exactly what he deserved. If there's one saga that perfectly sums up Cartman's twisted genius and his eventual downfall, it's the Scott Tenorman story. Back in Scott Tenorman Must Die, Cartman orchestrated what is still considered the darkest prank in cartoon history, tricking Scott into eating chili made from his own parents. Yeah, that's the level of pure villainy we're dealing with here. But karma is patient, and South Park never forgets. Fast forward to the episode 201, and Scott finally gets his revenge in the most brutal way possible. Cartman is strapped down, humiliated, and forced to face a truth so shocking it breaks him. Scott's father was also his father, meaning that not only did Cartman kill Scott's dad, he also killed his own dad, and if that wasn't messed up enough, it turns out Scott's mom is Cartman's mom too, making Scott his half-brother. Cartman's brain just collapses under the weight of this revelation, but the part that truly seals it is instant karma. He doesn't cry about the murder or the trauma or the horrifying family connection. No, he sobs because his dad was a ginger. Classic Cartman.
Jack Tenorman was your father. You killed your own father!
If there's one thing Cartman should have learned by now, it's that Wendy Testerberger does not play around. But of course, being Cartman, he couldn't help himself. In the episode Breast Cancer Show Ever, Wendy gives a serious classroom presentation about breast cancer awareness. Instead of shutting his mouth like a normal person, Cartman interrupts with joke after joke, turning it into his own personal comedy club. He mocks her project, taunts her non-stop, and basically dares Wendy to do something about it. And she does. She challenges him to an after-school fight. Now you'd think Cartman would back down, but no. He doubles down. He brags, schemes, even eats his own underwear in a last-ditch stunt to avoid the showdown. But all of his little tricks fail, and when the bell rings, karma comes swinging. Wendy absolutely demolishes him in front of the entire school. We're talking fists flying, Cartman face first in the dirt, and not a single ounce of mercy shown. It's one of the rare times someone finally stands up to him and doesn't hold back. In that moment, Wendy's fists weren't just hers, they were karma's. And Cartman? He never saw it coming.
You don't have to say anything. I know how it is.
Some of Cartman's greatest downfalls come when he's trying to humiliate Butters, and Cartman Sucks might be the most iconic example. The plan is simple, or at least Cartman thinks it is. He sneaks into Butters' room, stages a photo of himself with Butters' junk in his mouth, and figures this will be the ultimate blackmail. In his mind, Butters will be embarrassed for life, but there's just one tiny world-shattering flaw. Everyone immediately points out that if anyone looks bad in the photo, it's Cartman. The moment the truth hits him, you can practically hear his brain fizzle out. He tries everything to spin the story, claiming he was tricking Butters, trying to Photoshop himself out of the picture, even attempting to frame Kyle. But every move just digs him deeper. The ultimate humiliation comes when his mom discovers the original photo hidden under his desk, confirming once and for all that Cartman really did stage it. What was supposed to be Butters' humiliation becomes Cartman's most embarrassing defeat. If Instant Karma had a dictionary entry, this episode would be the picture beside it.
Do not show picture. Kyle didn't have it after all. Found it under your desk. She said you know what that means.
By the time Stunning and Brave aired, Cartman had built a reputation as South Park's ultimate manipulator, so naturally, he thought he could outsmart the new sheriff in town, PC Principal. Spoiler alert, he couldn't. Cartman starts off with his usual tricks, planning to blackmail the guy using Butters' underwear as evidence. It's vintage Cartman, smug, overconfident, and convinced he's 2 steps ahead of everyone else. But instead of folding under the pressure like most adults in South Park do, PC Principal unleashes the full fury of frat boy justice. What follows is not a scolding, not detention, not a lecture. It's a full-blown beatdown. Cartman gets slammed into a urinal with the kind of force usually reserved for WWE highlight reels. Every bone in his body might as well have been turned into dust. By the time it's over, Cartman is a crumpled mess on the bathroom floor, and for once, there's no smart remark or snarky comeback, just silence. It's one of those rare moments where Cartman's ego is totally shattered, and the audience can't help but cheer. Instant karma, South Park style.
We can't beat him, you guys. PC Principal is too strong.
Cartman's dream finally comes true in Cartmanland when he inherits $1 million and decides to buy his very own amusement park. Sounds cool, right? Wrong. This is Cartman, so naturally, the whole point isn't to enjoy rides or have fun. It's to keep everyone else out. His smug little face beams with joy as he brags about how amazing it is to have rides all to himself. For a brief moment, he's living in paradise. But karma doesn't let that slide. Running a theme park isn't free, and reality quickly smacks him in the face. First, he has to hire security. Then he realizes he needs staff to keep the rides operating. Slowly, the expenses pile up until Cartman's grand, no one else allowed plan completely collapses. Before long, he's letting in customers just to keep the place afloat, and the park transforms into exactly what he tried to avoid, a regular amusement park full of people. And then comes the final blow. The IRS swoops in, seizes everything, and Cartman loses it all. Meanwhile, Kyle, who'd been suffering from a hemorrhoid, miraculously recovers just by watching Cartman's misery. If that isn't instant karma, I don't know what is.
You just built me up to knock me down, didn't you? What about my dreams? What about my money?
Few episodes capture Cartman's karmic downfall quite like AWESOM-O. Here, Cartman cooks up another genius plan to humiliate Butters, this time by disguising himself as a robot to dig up embarrassing secrets. At first it works. Butters buys it completely, happily sharing his secrets with his new robot friend. Things are going smoothly until Butters drops the bombshell. He has a video of Cartman dressed up as Britney Spears, kissing a cardboard cutout of Justin Timberlake. Suddenly the hunter becomes the hunted. From that moment, Cartman is trapped in his own cardboard prison. As AWESOM-O, he's forced to wait on Butters' hand and foot, starve inside a hot, sweaty box, and even get dragged all the way to Hollywood. The humiliation only piles higher when movie executives exploit him to crank out ridiculous Adam Sandler scripts. And just when Cartman thinks it couldn't get worse, the US military takes interest and nearly dissects him to study his robot technology. His cover finally blows in the dumbest way possible, with a fart, and the Britney Spears tape gets exposed for everyone to see. What began as Cartman's master plan ends as one of his greatest self-inflicted humiliations, pure instant karma.
Where the hell am I? Hey, why can't I move?
Are your systems stable? Run a systems check on your CPU.
Cartman has always pushed the limits of bad behavior, but in Cartman's silly Hate Crime 2000, he learns that even South Park has consequences. During a simple sledding competition, Cartman throws a rock at Token. Of course, he claims it was just to win the race, but the authorities see it as a racially motivated attack. In typical overblown South Park fashion, Cartman is charged with a hate crime and sentenced to juvenile hall. For once, Cartman isn't in control. He's just another inmate in a place where his manipulation tactics don't work. He spends his days sobbing, begging for his mom, and smuggling contraband in ways too disturbing to describe. His attempted great escape plan is equally pathetic, involving a toy car that barely moves an inch. Meanwhile, the boys back home are forced to prepare for the sled race without him, and for once, Cartman's absence makes their lives harder instead of easier. Eventually, he gets pardoned by the governor, but not before weeks of pure humiliation. Even when he does return to win the race, it's clear karma already had its way with him. Juvie life broke Cartman in ways nothing else could.
Hey, what are you doing?
Sometimes karma doesn't show up in the form of classmates or villains. Sometimes it shows up as a dog trainer. Inst. Cartman's mom finally admits she's lost all control and calls in professional help. First, Nanny 911 and Super Nanny give it a shot, but within minutes, Cartman has both women breaking down in tears. Just when it seems like no one on Earth can handle him, in walks Caesar Millen, the dog whisperer. Instead of coddling Cartman, Caesar treats him like an unruly chihuahua. A leash, quick nips to the neck, and pure dominance flips the script instantly. For the first time, Cartman isn't the alpha. He's reduced to whining, pouting, and even trying to run away. But here's the kicker. When he does, none of his friends want him. Nobody will take him in, and he ends up wandering the streets until he has no choice but to crawl back home, broken and hungry. By the end, he finally submits to his mom's authority, at least for a moment. It's a rare sight. Cartman tamed. And even though Bigesi goes right back to plotting, that brief collapse was pure, delicious karma.
That's super interesting, but I've been out living on the streets for almost 4 hours. Make me something to eat.
Cartman's greed has gotten him into trouble plenty of times, but in Man Bear Pig it nearly gets him killed. While the rest of the boys are stuck in the middle of Al Gore's bizarre hunt for the imaginary Man Bear Pig, Cartman stumbles upon what looks like treasure in the caves. Naturally, he does what only Cartman would do. He eats the entire stash to keep it all for himself. Gold, jewels, trinkets. Straight down the hatch. For a moment he's smug, bragging about how rich he'll be when they get out, but karma doesn't take long to respond. The caves flood, and suddenly Cartman's bloated stomach turns him into an anchor. He's flailing, gasping, and way too heavy to save himself. Kyle has to drag his treasure-stuffed body through the water just to keep him from drowning. When they finally escape, the treasure is revealed to be practically worthless. It's about $14 total. All that risk, humiliation, and near-death experience for the price of a fast food meal. Watching Cartman gag, wheeze, and beg for help after stuffing himself with fake riches is karma working at its finest.
About it. You would all just love to get your hands on my treasure, wouldn't you?
Cartman's obsession with getting the latest gadgets finally comes back to bite him in HumanCentiPad. From the very start, he's throwing one of his trademark tantrums, screaming in Best Buy because his mom won't buy him an iPad. He even accuses her in front of everyone of doing some things we can't even repeat here. The meltdown is peak Cartman, loud, crass, and unbelievably entitled. Meanwhile, Kyle accidentally agrees to Apple's terms and conditions without reading them, and ends up stitched into a nightmare experiment and inspired by the Human Centipede. It's one of the darkest parodies South Park ever did, and while Kyle suffers the worst physically, Cartman's karmic punishment comes in another form. Just when it looks like he'll finally get the iPad of his dreams, Gerald steps in and voids the contract, ruining Cartman's chance at tech glory. The episode ends with Cartman in a hospital bed, seething at God himself, crying that he screwed him over. He's left humiliated, gadgetless, and screaming into the void, which honestly is exactly what he deserved after his public tantrum. In true South Park fashion, instant karma didn't just deny him the prize, it made the loss as humiliating as possible.
Oh wait, I get it now. The F word is a no-no word, and I shouldn't say it around other people. I'm sorry, Mama.
That's every brutal moment Cartman got instant karma, proof the universe always evens the score. But South Park isn't the only show guilty of chaos. Next, check out the episode that ruined American Dad. You won't believe what went wrong.